What's your strangest, weirdest, and or creepiest animal fact? Which candy would you be most disappointed to receive on Halloween? What will you never change your mind on? Not showing dislike on YouTube is a bad idea. You're right. It is a bad idea. We should be able to receive negative feedback, unless it's an Ask MK video. Because if you dislike an Ask MK video, that means you smell bad. Social media is doing serious damage to our society. That reevaluating your opinions when you find evidence that contradicts them is a good idea. Big rock in water, make big splash. You are so right for that. Question mark block from Mario plus water equals 3 water. Oxford comma for life. It makes things more clear. Most people who vote don't have enough information to make a reasonable decision. Victorious politicians generally appeal to this subset. Dogs have no business in the lap of a person actively driving a car. That's so right of you. Put your dog in its own seat with a harness on, with a seat belt attached to it. Keep that thing safe. It should not be in your lap when you are driving. Peeing in the shower is efficient and economical. I will never enjoy Jane Corden's acting, comedy, or personality. If historical figures actually did roll in their graves, which grave would generate the most power if hooked up to a generator? Alexander Hamilton, when he finds out people are writing fanfic of him getting ass blasted by the other founding fathers, Dirac, Heisenberg, or any physicist from that era. The amount of garbage that gets explained away with quantum something is really incredible. Ghosts, psychics, chiropractors, you name it. TBH, George Washington would probably be spinning constantly, considering the US political system does exactly what he said not to do. You have to pay to see Karl Marx's grave, so I'd go with them. Genghis Khan. He is supposed to have about 18 to 20 million living descendants today. Imagine having that many grandkids just fucking up every single day. Teddy Roosevelt proposed a trust bust to stop large companies from buying out government to skew and manipulated the masses. Now we have corporate media influencing votes on bills that only benefit companies as well as bought politicians. That grave would be nuclear. Frida Kahlo. I think the commercialization of her image would have her spinning for sure. I'm so glad someone mentioned Frida. As a huge anti-capitalist, I feel like she would hate having her image sold everywhere. Or Che Guevara. What very expensive grocery items do you love to buy on a regular basis? Have you ever bought a block of Parmesan cheese? Not like the pre-shredded crap from a plastic container, like a chunk of it. You just take a bite out of it. The good old days. Pistachios. I love them. Honeycrisp apples. It's mid-choice, but okay. I never really thought of them as the extravagant, but more than once, the same cashier would stop and lean over to me and say, "These are $8. Like she was trying to convince me to put them back. Fresh raspberries. They cost a fortune for a pint around here. Vanilla. I mean, I don't get it that often, but real vanilla is better. Honey. I love fancy honey. Username checks out. Coffee. Good kimchi from an Asian store 1 state over. Lindt, Lindor, chocolate. When they're in season, sweet cherries. What is something you can't believe is so controversial? Actual work-life balance. People are expected to be robots and work to burnout, and this is normalized. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet, but breastfeeding. It's honestly mind-boggling that people in certain parts of the world are actually bothered by it when human beings have been doing it since we evolved breasts. It is genuinely one of the big things I think people will look back on in a few hundred years and be confused AF. Which way to put the toilet paper roll? Listen, if you have a cat, the toilet paper goes backwards. If you don't have a cat, the toilet paper goes forwards, which is the correct way, in my opinion. Putting your card away and picking up after yourself. Scientific facts. In 30 minutes, the comments in this thread. Watching cartoons as an adult. Who cares what we watch? We're adults, it's not illegal. What is your favorite variation of the saying, "What the f***? Pardon me, my good bitch. What seems to be the f***? Vertifirk? What fresh hell is this? What in the wide world of sports is going on in here? Something has gone biblically wrong here. You f***ing what, mate? What's all this then? In the worst Cockney accent. I don't know what Cockney is. Is that like worse British? What is something everyone should experience at least once in their lifetime? Seeing the Milky Way. Getting a hug from someone who has been waiting all day to see you. Having a lucid dream. The Northern Lights. Close bond with an animal. There's simply nothing like it. Watch the sunrise and a sunset in one day. Outside in nature. Eggo waffles with crunchy peanut butter and syrup. One of my favorite snacks that reminds me of childhood. Wow, that was wholesome. Good for you. What killed your feelings for someone you were madly in love with? They cheated on me. When my mom passed away, it was a couple days before our kid's second birthday. He had a scheduled company week-long shutdown. I went to visit my mom every day before she passed. He accused me of ruining his vacation. Then to top it off, he ran to a mutual friend to tell her how how I ruined his vacation. The man had put me through hell anyways, and I kept trying to make it work, but even I couldn't reason away this level of selfishness. In a way, it gave me closure. This man simply had no capacity for love, and I didn't need to keep trying to win him over. There was no love from him to be won. Not that it makes him a prize. Call it a moment of clarity. When I found out she was madly in love with my best friend, that no matter what I did, how much I helped, how much I tried to be there for them, I was a second option and never a priority, never reciprocated. The feelings are still there, just slowly withering away as I face reality day by day. She stole my car. I once had an ex steal my identity, insulting my body while I was pregnant with his child, specifically called me deformed and how repulsive my belly was. She gave me an ultimatum before moving in with me. Either my cat goes or she goes. It wasn't that she was allergic to cats. She just intensely disliked them. So my cat stayed and she left. You, sir, chose the right pussy. He told me he was embarrassed to be seen with me. Nothing killed my feelings. She didn't want to be with me, and that's hideously painful. But I still think of her all the time. I wasn't madly in love, but when she told me about the time that she stuck her baby brother in the washing machine and turned it on, she zapped all the way down from a 10 to a 0 at light speed. I don't think I'll ever nope out of anything as fast as I noped out of that relationship. Literally turned the car around, dropped her off at her house, and never looked back. She did this at like the age of 15, by the way. What song will instantly piss you off if you don't leave the area immediately? Black Eyed Peas, Pump It. I've been in 3 car accidents in my life. All 3 times this song was playing. Safe to say it is no longer in any of my playlists. That Oh No song from TikTok. All About That Bass or whatever it's called. Happy by Pharrell Williams. Jack and Diane by John Mellencamp? What? That's such a good song. There's gotta be a story behind that. Seabat! Man, this gets me in the mood. I was so sad when we weren't gonna be narrating that story. I was really bummed. I would love to do it. Bad Day by some or I don't know. I used to work in a factory that had the absolute worst radio station. Every single hour. They played that damn song, and yes, I was having a bad day. That one Christmas song that always plays on freaking loop. Edit. Mariah Carey song. Sorry, should have been more specific, my bad. Can we all agree that Last Christmas by Wham is way better than All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey? I think we should be able to agree on that. Thunder by Imagine Dragons is just completely obnoxious, and every single radio station chooses to play it, so I can't get away from it for long. Shape of You. Probably the most overplayed song, and it's not even good. Yeah, I mean, that's all of Ed Sheeran's discography, just saying. What is a marketing gimmick misleading fact that people still fall for? Reddit ads that look like posts. Every few months, I accidentally click on one. Essential oils. Essential here is simply an archaic term for scented or having essence. It doesn't mean necessary, required, or important. It's all marketing BS. It's kind of amazing how easily you can entice people to buy something by just subtracting a tiny amount of money from the sale price. Like charging $1.95 or even $1.99 for a product instead of a full $2, for example. $40 plus $10 shipping? No. $50 plus free shipping equals yeah. Anything which claims it purges the body of built-up toxins. Call in the next 5 minutes and we'll double everything. It does not matter when you call. Be your own boss. Run your own business. Make your own hours. Earn lots of money by joining this multi-level marketing. No thanks. Get a real job. Shampoo. Rinse and repeat. Help! I'm stuck in a loop here. I can't stop. What is the best horror movie you've ever seen? I'm pretty sure the original Final Destination trilogy is responsible for at least 60% of my anxiety. The Hitcher. It's not the scariest, but it's just enjoyable. And Rutger Hauer really kills that role. The Shining will always be my favorite horror. The music in the empty halls always give me the chills. I also thought the Doctor Strange movie was surprisingly good. Psycho. I think everyone knows the twist by now, but that also speaks to its immense impact on the genre and media in general. It's a fantastic movie, and even if you know the twist, it's worth the watch. Threads. It's about the aftermath of nuclear war. No gore, no jump scares. The entire movie is completely plausible. It's horror combined with the sense of dread. Hereditary and The Conjuring 2 are terrific horror films. Probably my top 2. Honorable mentions: Halloween 78, The Shining, both sinister movies. Psycho. I found it really psychologically disturbing. Hereditary is insane. Alien. Silence of the Lambs. The original Scream will always be a favorite of mine. The Stranger scared me so badly that I think it redefined scary movies for me. Who is the most unhireable person you know, and why? My ex-boyfriend's mom had 7 jobs in the span of me knowing him for 4 years. She worked at a car dealership one time for like 3 months to get a new car discount and then quit. The woman who sent in a CV with no contact details. She met the criteria, had the qualifications, the experience, and sounded perfect. But there was no phone number, address, or email, so she was impossible to hire. My sister's dumb husband. I guess I can't say he's unhireable because places keep hiring him for some reason, but he's unretainable for certain. He's lost every job he's ever had within a couple months at time at most. He's either fired because of stupid mistakes or he just stopped showing up and they fire him for too many absences. He was fired from his most recent job because 2 different women complained about him being creepy. This man is 40 years old. He has 4 kids with my sister. It's a nightmare. Overheard a guy in an interview say, "I want to work with money unsupervised." Like, what the f***? Red flag much? My sister. She's lazy, feels entitled, thinks she's smarter than everyone, has particular particular ideals that don't line up with anything. She's had like 7 jobs this year. She's not been fired from any of them, and this makes it sound better than it is since she's worked less than 7 weeks this year. She gets mad about something and then stops going to work. She actually tends to be liked for some reason since she's a miserable person. There's more I want to say, but I think that's all the work-related stuff, so I'll keep it at that. What are some really messed up experiments done in the name of science? Project MK Ultra, CIA's secret quest for mind control. The one where they scared the baby boy. Was it Little Albert to show you about phobias? I learned that in my psychology degree and felt a bit sick. They use kids and animals for the most f***ed up experiments. Putting a decapitated dog's head on a living dog to see if the function of the decapitated dog's head could be extended. Ew! Ugh! That's gross. Most people might disagree, but when you think about it, most experiments on animals are kind of messed up, even when they save human lives. Justin Schmidt was a scientist who developed the Schmidt Pain Index. This measures the pain from various insects that Schmidt had bite into him. Some of these bugs included the bullet ant, the Asian giant hornet, and the tarantula hawk. While volunteering himself to be bitten is ethical, you can't deny it's a bit messed, putting yourself through that kind of pain for science. As an aside, the f***? People actually think the Russian sleep experiment was real? A scientist wanted to cut off his own head and see how many times he could blink after. He blinked 3 times. Testing how depressed chimps can be just for the sake of morbid curiosity with little benefit to people and animals. Goddamn waste of time, money, and is definitely animal abuse. Which celebrity appears innocent, but you are completely convinced they killed someone? Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf, Tom Cruise, Garth Brooks. Where are the bodies buried? The families need closure, Garth. Touch my camera through the fence. He's got friends in crawl spaces. Aubrey Plaza. No, wait, she totally looks like she killed somebody most days. Maybe not a person, but I feel like Nicolas Cage has at least killed some large animals in a strange and disturbing way. Christian Bale. No way he does some of his roles without real practice. That man is a method actor. Unpopular opinion, but I think there's something dark about OJ. Ellen DeGeneres. She's got a body or 2 under her belt. Although she's been shown to be a bitch recently, she appeared nice for a long time. Anyone with Stewart in their name? Martha Stewart, Stewart from Mad TV, Stewart from Family Guy, Kristen Stewart, Rod Stewart, Patrick Stewart, John Stewart. I'm sure he had his reasons, but he doesn't get a free pass from the list. Stuart Little. Leah Michelle. She's awful. Supposedly, she once tricked her understudy into thinking she'd be on that night, and then smugly sat backstage waiting for her to come in so she could tell her, I lied, I'm the star, or something equally evil. James Franco. Too much of a little pussy to kill someone. What's your favorite synonym for idiot? Sharp as a marble. Wank. Bellend. Muppet. Complete and not a muppet. Moron. But said with a thick Southern American accent, so it comes out as moron. Nincompoop. 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 That's not right. Dipshit. A few fries short of a Happy Meal. Hey boss. Aliens of Reddit, why do you use Earth Internet? Actually, I understand this fluently. I took Alien as an elective in community college before I dropped out because we're stuck on this f***ed up planet with no signal to get home. We've been tracking the Zuck, and it appears to be here. Your internet is full of it. Tentacle. Jeff Goldblum, put a virus in ours. It's free at Starbucks. What's a cool name for a frog? Vincent Van Frog. Roberto. Snoop Froggy Frog. Greg. Betty Croker. Jeremiah, if it's a bullfrog. Gorf. Cubert, just to throw the oldies off. Dwayne the Frog Johnson. What is something you wanted as a kid, but never got? Heelys or a trampoline? Travel. Go on vacations. Happiness. I never got the race car bed. My friend convinced me that his mom's made chocolate milk, and I really wanted some, but was too scared to ask. It's never too late to ask. A father figure. No! Oh, nar! An easy bake oven, but that's okay, because now I'm a professional chef, and I get to use multiple real ovens daily. Piano lessons. Love. Super Nintendo and the Crisscross Crash Hot Wheels track. What ruins a movie instantly? When you put James Corden in it. When people don't explain themselves. Like those scenes where the guy gets kissed by another girl without his permission, and the actual love interest walks in and sees them and just storms off. Makes me furious. So many problems could be solved if characters would just fucking talk. Or when the character wants to say something really important, but the other person says, not now, and then they just give up. Like, what the fuck? Listen to me. When I need to say something crucial, it's just terrible writing. Scientists just solving problems using the quantum science magic card. Talking about you, Avengers Endgame. Historical movies that don't even try to be accurate because the audience wouldn't understand it if it isn't a modernized version of the past. 37 billion decibel explosions, gunfights, and dialogue that's barely whispered. Obvious ad placement, like a character taking a sip from a Red Bull, setting it down, and the camera panning to it for 5 seconds. When you're reading the synopsis, then Netflix starts to play the film in the background. Lack of chemistry between actors. Stop casting boring, attractive people. I'd rather see an average-looking couple with chemistry than two hot robots. People not talking like humans and terrible dialogue. Pointless love triangles. TBH, any unnecessary or forced romantic trope. Mouthy kids spewing lines that only an adult would actually think of and say. Looking at you, Erica from Stranger Things. Being told what happens next / spoiled. Unconvincing accents. What's a child computer game you'd recommend? Roller Coaster Tycoon. The amusement park music and screams of people on rides are a core childhood memory. The Oregon Trail. Simpsons Hit and Run. Ah, the memories. The Sims 2. Doom. Tonka. Oh, I loved the Tonka CD-ROM games. Purple Place. I don't know what that is. Lego Island Extreme Stunts. Tetris. What's something your parents taught you as a kid that you will never teach your own children? Beatings, not spankings, is a form of disciplinary love. I was raised by my parents to keep my emotions to myself. To be able to achieve this, it has taken me a very long time. I don't want my children to conceal their emotions. Making your kids fear you just to get them to respect you. Old age doesn't mean the person's supposed to be respected. Emotions are weak and should be hidden. What do you enjoy about thunderstorms? I love how it cleans the air and the earth. I love to fall asleep listening to them. The sound and rain and flashes. They make me feel evil. I love them. The drama of the noise and light make me feel excited and alive. I like to wrap up in a blanket and watch the storm. It feels very cozy wrapped up in a blanket when it's stormy and scary outside. The scent. Showers wash all my cares away. Which candy would you be most disappointed to receive on Halloween? I swear, in 1982, this old man met me at the door and put a handful of Cheetos into my trick-or-treat bag. Your trick-or-treat bag? What? It's trick or treat bag. What? Old person. Old person got it wrong. Point and laugh. I gotta say, that sounds good until you realize how unsanitary it is and how little Cheetos a handful is. I had some lady in my childhood neighborhood that gave out little booklets that had Bible passages. Ew. I don't remember exactly, but I think there was some sort of message about nothing being as sweet as salvation or something. Those cheap-ass orange or black peanut butter candy things. Are you talking about Reese's? Sun-made raisins. A rock. Poor Charlie Brown. I got an onion one time. Those stale popcorn balls. Good and plenty. Never liked that stuff. Well, yeah, it's just licorice, but in candy form. Of course it's not good. I got a toothbrush and toothpaste one time. Circus peanuts. Mary Jane's. That peanut butter candy thing or whatever it's supposed to taste like. What's your first, I'm getting older moment? I don't enjoy going to concerts that much anymore because of all the potential standing around. My newest coworker has 2000 tattooed on her, and I asked if that was the year she was born. Yes, that was the year she was born. I heard some Gen Zs the other day called the 1990s the late 1900s. Mild to moderate joint pain. Realizing little kids think of me as the adult and not another kid to play with. Having exciting conversations about household appliances with other adults at social functions. Also setting regular reminders to trim my nose hairs once a month. When the 18-year-old girl working at Subway described the song playing on the radio as an old classic. It was a big hit when I was in junior high. What was it? It was a song called Lightning Crashes by the band Live. It was a huge hit around 95 when I was in the 8th grade. I started saying kids these days. Getting into your 40s, realizing if you live to 80, you're halfway done. Feel like you're just getting started. What's your strangest, weirdest, and or creepiest animal fact? Charles Darwin and Steve Irwin owned the same tortoise. There exists a teeny tiny species of ant whose life consists of finding an army ant and biting its foot off. The teeny ant then latches onto the stump and feeds on the internal fluids, the blood. The truly messed up part is that the teeny tiny ant then takes on the job of being the army ant's foot and somehow actually improves the ant's mobility. Also fairy flies. These are the smallest insects, flying insects known, if I recall, like 0.1 millimeters in length, so tiny that air acts pretty much like a fluid for them. They are actually more swim through the air than fly. Their wings look more like spread fingers than actual wing. There's a kind of frog, I think, that gives birth from its back, so there's a bunch of holes when it's done. Saw it some years ago in a documentary, and it was the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. In my life, as far as I can remember. The platypus still milk feeds its young, but without nipples. It sweats milk in the chest area, and the baby licks it up. Adelie penguins practice prostitution using pebbles, the primary component of their nests, as currency. Flamingos have to put their head upside down when they eat, or else they can't filter stuff like mud out of their food. Ostriches in captivity will have a favorite human and even refuse to mate with other ostriches as a result. They'll try to get the cha-cha on with said favorite human instead. Hey everybody, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night.